Last quarter, we generated over 80 meetings, and we only worked maybe 1 or 2 hours to achieve that. So the question is, how's that even possible when there's companies with 2, 3, 4 BDRs doing nothing else than cold calling people, cold emailing people, and not even getting close to that number? Right? So this is what this video is all about. We show you how we did that actually step by step. So first of all, this is not a random number. This is directly from our HubSpot. You can see activity date, the entire quarter, meeting type, qualification. So this is the first meetings we have. We qualify each other. Are you a good fit? Are we a good fit? And you can see here 81 meetings last quarter. So how did we do that? The first is we need to understand what is actually the problem of outbound. Right? What's the first thing that they see when they see your email in the sea of all the other emails that everyone gets, right? Like people spending 5 to 10 minutes just deleting emails. So you don't stand out naturally. So what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to Google your company and Google you, and they end up on your website and on your LinkedIn. And the question is, what do they see there? Do they see nothing? Crickets? A desert? Or do they see a thought leader that talks about the problems they actually care about? Right? And this is what we do. We talk about all things lead generation, pipeline generation. So, and we do that using a very, very straightforward AI system where we just generate different post types and have your AI write most of our content for us. Thus, it only takes me like an hour a week to generate 3 to 5 posts a week. And the result of that is, well, I got obviously followers, right? Like now that this screenshot is about a couple of weeks old, 2-3 weeks old. So now I'm at around 7,000 followers, and we generate over 100,000 impressions a month. But that's just vanity metrics. That doesn't really matter. What really matters is this, the amount of engagements and the profile views I'm getting. So people going on my profile, asking, oh, who is this guy? And engagement, people liking and commenting on my posts. Because with these numbers, or with these actions, I can actually do something. I can retarget people. I can reach out to them. So this is the next thing I'm doing. We use what we call inbound triggers. So that's people that went on your profile or your website and visited that, or people that engage with your posts. So I can use Teamfluence to see who actually has been on my profile, who commented, etc. So I just get a list, and I can export that list automatically using a webhook. And the same thing I can do with Albacross. I can see which companies have been on my website, and I can then retarget them. Everyone that's been in marketing knows exactly how powerful retargeting is, because these people know you. It rings a bell when they hear your name. So the conversion rate on these leads is much, much higher. So once we have that, well, not everyone that's on my profile is qualified. Not everyone is there's competitors, that's just people that are not a good fit. So I need to enrich and qualify those prospects. And that's what I'm doing in Clay, where I just get a bit more information about the company, and then I put that information into OpenAI and ask questions such as, is this a B2B company? Is this a competitor? Is this my ICP fit? If all of these questions indicate that they're qualified, then I move further along the journey. But before I do that, let me show you how we also do cold outbound in a very traditional sense. Now, the problem with traditional cold outbound is exactly that. There's no trust. There's nothing. So what you need to do is you make sure that your messaging at least is super, super relevant. That they're like, well, I may not know you, but you damn well understand my problem. You reached out at the exact right time with an exact right message. And the way we do this is using dynamic triggers. What we have found is job changes work really, really well. Or job ads work for us really, really well. In your case, they might be different. We identified over 17 trigger events that you can use, right? So it depends a bit on your target audience, which triggers actually make sense. Now, one way to see job changes and create lists automatically, so you don't have to do this like every month or so, you can use Sales Navigator and Phantom Buster. It's not what we use internally because we have a custom coded solution for that. However, if you just want to get started, it's a good way to get started. The second way you can essentially do this is using Apify to scrape LinkedIn or Indeed job ads, right? So once you have that dynamic list creation done, you also feed them into Clay and basically enrich and qualify the prospects as well. Now, once you've done all that and you have the list of qualified prospects, you found their email address also in Clay, the next thing is you actually create a campaign messaging table, and we send a sequence of 3 emails. Because to be honest, after the second email, there's not that much new things you can say. So the only thing you can do in the third email is actually ask for a referral in a sense like, hey, Tom, you don't seem to be the right person. Should I reach out to Patrick? He's the head of sales, so he might be the right person to talk about topic X. Right? That's what we do. Because again, there's not much new you can say, and anything else, you're just going to burn the lead eventually. So rather reuse them in 3 to 6 months. Now, these 3 messages, especially 1 and 2, they're fully generated by AI, and that's essentially what we do here, which is use AI to generate hyper-personalized messages, and depending on which triggers we're using, what we can say in the message, we then send them to different campaigns, depending on the messaging, depending on what we're currently testing. Right? Then you essentially want to engage those leads, right? Like we use Smart Lead and HeyReach. Important here, HeyReach on LinkedIn is basically us reaching out on LinkedIn, and what we want to do here is we want to not just sell a meeting the same way we would do on email. It's a different medium, you use different language and a different type of messaging here. Now, you obviously get replies, right? People saying like, hey, this sounds interesting. Yes, please tell me more. So you want to sync those. You want to basically analyze that. And you want to see, okay, well, who's interested? And then you want to sync them to your CRM. So this is why we created our own tool, the Inbox Manager, and we can do a selective sync here. So we only sync selective messages, the ones that are qualified, into HubSpot. So we do this automatically, and then we can develop the pipeline there. Right? In HubSpot, as you can see here, around 50%, or pretty much exactly 50% of our revenue is coming from cold outbound. 1/3 is coming from social selling, and the rest is coming from referrals. Now, what we do in HubSpot, other than just closing deals, we have this qualification call, and here we use a tool called Fathom. And Fathom is a note taker that just transcribes all the meetings and sends the recording to you and syncs it to the CRM as well as the people you had the meeting with. So that's one thing it does. But the second thing it does, and that's super, super genius, is you can use all those transcripts, feed it into OpenAI, and ask it like, hey, what are the main problems of my buyer persona? Because that's what they talk about in the sales call. So that's one thing we do. And the second thing we then do between the sales call, like the qualification call, we say, okay, it makes sense to look at this further. You're the right person, you have the problem, you have the budget, and it's time crucial. Then we can move forward. So between that and the strategy session, where we sit down with you, put together a campaign, put together a strategy, and the roadmap for you, between the qualification meeting and that meeting, you need to create some additional trust. You may want to see some case studies, hear some customer testimonials. That's what we do in Emlyn. Emlyn is a deal room essentially where I can host content to educate you a bit more about us, what we do, and why clients love to work with us. Right? And then in the strategy session, you have all that context. So it's just about, hey, do I like the strategy? And then you can decide, hey, I want to do this alone. It's amazing. Thank you very much. I have everything that I need. Or, hey, can you actually help me build all of this out? And then you can say, yes, of course, you can work with us. Right? So that's essentially it. Just to recap how we actually use an all-round method to do all of this. Generate trust, use AI to create your posts, but use it in a smart way. Otherwise, it just sounds weird. So you need to know how to use AI, but then you can create that trust at scale. And then the rest is all automated. We find people that we identify, use inbound triggers to identify people, retarget them, and we use dynamic triggers to create people that are just exactly at the right moment, qualify them, and then use data to create really personalized, amazing campaigns, reach out to them, analyze the responses, filter the positive ones into our CRM, and develop and close the pipeline there. So this is the outbound method that we use to generate over 80 meetings per quarter for ourselves, but also the ones that we teach to our customer and enable them to build such an engine themselves. Now you may say, hey, sounds amazing. I want to have a closer look. I want to hear how that actually could work for us. Amazing. Please be my guest. And all you have to do is click on the link below. There's a quick form, answer 2-3 questions about you, and then we can schedule a qualification call, see if it makes sense to work together and take it from there. All right, looking forward to it. Bye-bye.